Oh shit. Are you serious? What the fuck is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. It is your lovely host, Taylor Torres, and I am just, I'm so glad to be back in the pod. I'm glad to be back here making moves. But today is kind of a little treat because I was looking through some of the episodes I had recorded this summer. And along with all of the amazing guests I've recorded, I had a couple of little solo dolos hidden in there. And I found this episode I recorded May 25th. And I never put it out. It was right when I went through my little achy breaky heart moment where I took a little hiatus from the pod. But the episode I recorded is actually could not be more applicable to myself now and to, I think, really anyone kind of walking through a season of burnout or exhaustion or confusion or like roadblock in their life and their business, what have you. And I couldn't help but kind of take it out of the archives and share it. So I'm going to share that today. But before I do, I have to tell you guys the Barbie movie is a 10 out of motherfucking 10. Could not recommend the movie enough. I got to see it last night on opening or premiere night with my daughter. She is 9. She just turned 9 yesterday, and we went to go see the Barbie movie, and I am so obsessed. Margot Robbie is an absolute goddess. She deserves an Oscar, whatever award. Even Will Ferrell deserves. It was just so good. I've been a Barbie fan since I was a little girl. I've always loved Barbies. I played with them until I was like fucking 12 or some shit like that. And the movie was so beautiful. I cried tears from laughter and joy and just feels. It was so empowering. I need to record an entire episode just talking about the movie and the themes and the nuggets in there. It was absolutely hilarious. They even had some like, okay, I don't know if it was like gay, but beach off. Anyone else did anyone else watch Barbie? And if you haven't watched Barbie yet, once you watch it, let me know what beach off is supposed to mean. I'm going to beat you off. I'm going to beat you off. The Kens were saying that to each other. Anyways, there was a lot of like sexual innuendos, which is always great in a movie like that. But the overall theme, the empowerment, being a woman, it was so beautiful. And it had me so in my feels about being a woman, being a mom, and raising a daughter, and being a business owner and a woman of power. And then I listened to this episode today when I was editing, and I was like, oh my God, the message in this episode met me exactly where I am right now. Because although when I recorded this episode in May, the episode I'm about to play, I was super stressed. We were right in the middle of our move, and I just felt like very burdened and overwhelmed. And I'm finally kind of literally this past week or so, I'm finally out of this hole, where you're just like trying to like paddle water, and you finally are on like a sand belt. Sand belt? What the fuck is a sand belt? What do they call those in the ocean when it's a sandbar? A sandbar. You finally get to the sandbar and you can breathe. That's me. I'm finally feeling like this summer I can take a breath. And while there are always going to be stressors in life, the episode I'm about to play met me where I'm at. So I hope that it can encourage you, inspire you, lift you up in whatever kind of season you're in. So let's go ahead and dive in. What's up, you guys? Just cracking me open a cold ass can of Alani Dream Float energy beverage. 10 calories. This is not a sponsor. I just live and breathe Alani Mommy. It is what it is. I'm so obsessed. However, I'm a little hurt because my local HEB decided to not sell my favorite flavor in the 6-pack box, probably because I bought all of them. They're probably like, our stock of peach flavored Alanis have quite dropped in the past 6 months. It's probably my fault. I've literally bought every flavor and I'm obsessed. Right now I'm just drinking this Dream Float. However, I am not doing well. I am very unwell right now because my life is chaotic. There's a lot going on, and I underestimated my ability to withstand the stress. And this little solo episode today, while I am currently in the process of moving our home and all of the wonderful things that come with new beginnings and new chapters, I am also here to let you know that I'm not okay. I'm a little stressed. I'm a little overwhelmed. To be honest, I'm having some real anxiety like I was back in 2021. And it's been happening over the past week or so. And I know it's just anxiety because I have pushed myself very hard in the past couple of months. And it's always like this delayed effect. I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I go balls to the wall with business and stuff and life stuff, and I plan too much too quickly, and I don't give myself just time to just chill, I will see this like delayed reaction of a month or two later where all of this compound interest of stress and time and planning and all of the things just kind of takes over and I have to succumb to it. And it always reminds me of this saying that's very, very common, kind of in the betterment mental health sphere and space. And I hear a lot of mental health professionals and speakers and other podcasters and content creators like myself who focus on mental health topics. They always mention that if you don't give your body rest and decide when that rest is going to happen, your body is going to decide for you. If you don't give yourself time off, if you don't give yourself the ability to recover, whether mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is, your body will decide when that time is. And guaranteed it's going to be pretty inconvenient for you. And I'm seeing that happen right now because I think my body mentally and physically has been pushed really hard in the past couple of months. I have been feeling like you guys have heard on the podcast and how I've shared, I've just been feeling on fire for life. Like I feel litty McLitter. So lit right now, I could go run a marathon. Not really. I am stressed, but I have been just so high on life. Like high on life. What else am I on? I have to be careful what I say on this fucking podcast. Regardless, I've been so litty on life with all of the things happening, being free from the chains of goddamn alcohol, from feeling fit and healthy and the most just healthy I've ever felt in my body, the most confident I've ever felt in my body, the most in tune I've ever felt in my womanhood, the most aligned I've ever felt in my business, the most excited for the future I've ever felt is right now. And I think that is the world's way when you are in a good spot, when you are in God's good graces and you are just killing it and good things are coming your way, the world is going to try to bring you down, sis. If it's not your own self-sabotage, it's someone else or something or some energy. And I am seeing that. The devil or whoever, whatever you want to call it, is trying to bring me down and I ain't going to fucking let it. Not today, sir. For one, I injured myself recently at the gym, and anytime I get like a health issue or which I've never had many in my life. I've thankfully been very, very healthy my 27 years. I've had very little health problems. I'm super grateful for that. But I also have tried to take care of myself more in the past couple of years. And I think that I've developed, I don't know if it's becoming a mom or becoming older, I've just developed this fear of health problems and injuries. And obviously, being in the gym as much as I am and being as active as I am with weightlifting, injuries are common. They're common in athletes. Not calling myself an athlete. I don't know. I consider myself an athlete now. It's like a weird conversation. I don't know for anyone listening, if you're not someone who grew up as an athlete, but you became involved in athletics later in life, do you consider yourself an athlete? Like, even though I didn't grow up playing sports or working out, I started working out 4 or so years ago, and now I consider myself an athlete. I could probably do more than the average person could, but it's sometimes I feel funny calling myself an athlete. But now that I'm an athlete, I know that my body is more prone to injury with just the amount of time I spend in the gym and the levels I push myself. And this happened to me a few years ago. I hurt myself in my shoulder area and it had caused a lot of anxiety. I thought it was heart problems. I talked about this in the podcast, but it turned into like full-fledged panic disorder. I was in the hospital I like went to the ER, not literally in the hospital, but I went to the ER. I had all these tests done. I had like a heart monitor. I had pretty much every like test you could do just to see how your heart is going. I did it and nothing was wrong, perfectly healthy. Everything looks really good. All my levels were good. It just ended up being anxiety and an injury. And that injury was causing pain, and the pain was giving me anxiety. And it was just like a circle effect. And I am the one to make my health problems worse by freaking out about them. Like, this is my toxic trait. My toxic trait is searching any possible symptom on Google and believing the first thing I read that it applies to me. My best friend Abby is probably rolling her eyes because she's a nurse. I don't know why. I have a lot of friends who are nurses. I like attract those sympathetic people, but I seriously will have like a headache and I search and I have an eye twitch and all of a sudden I have rectal cancer. Like, what the fuck? So in 2021, when this happened, it was an injury on my left shoulder and it spiraled me out of control. Now we're in almost June. As you guys know, things have been crazy in my world lately with the move, with the business booming, with the podcast. I have been trying to stay on top of my commitments. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to be well. I'm trying to be a good mom. It's a lot of fucking pressure. And I just want to say before I continue my thought, for anyone who thinks the people that you see online are just having a walk in the park, it's not. No one's life is what you think it is. Even for myself, I have built an amazing community online of women and friends and peers and clients who stay connected with me. And I always have to just say, like, my life isn't just this perfect picture you see. There are problems, there are issues, there are triggers, there are stressors, there are things that I am not happy about that I want to change. And while yes, we all want to share a highlight reel, and my goal with my platforms are to influence and educate and support people, and that means painting a picture of what's possible, and I do that with my own life. However, I am the first one to admit and the first one to say, my life's a shit show. And for every good thing you see, for every win, for every success, for every positive anecdote, for every fucking podcast where I'm laughing and giggling, there's a counter thought. There is a stressor. There is an anxiety. There is a thought running through my brain. I'm very open that I have anxiety. And anxiety is not something you just deal with and you get rid of and it comes back and it goes. For some people it does, but for a lot of people with anxiety, like true anxiety disorder, anxious thoughts are a part of your life. I remember the first time I told a therapist about my anxious thoughts, and I'm like, is that normal to just have these worst case scenarios in your mind 1,000 miles a minute, 24/7? She's like, no, sweetie, that's anxiety. That's a symptom of anxiety. It's stressing about things that aren't happening yet. And if you believe in any kind of spirituality or woo-woo, when we stress about things that haven't happened, we're creating our reality. And so for me, for every positive thing you hear me say on this platform, on my podcast, my business, whatever, I'm mentally over here unwell. I'm unwell because I am like, this week has been a lot on me and I've had a couple of breakdowns, couple of crying moments. I'm not a rage kind of person. I don't know if you get that vibe from me. I'm very much like a delicate butterfly who has this inner core of lava. Just, I'm just kind of floating around the earth, just battering my wings. But if you karate chop me, I will explode on you. That's how I feel my energy is. I am passionate and deep to my core, but it takes a lot for that to come out. And it comes out when I am under pressure, when I'm feeling stressed. And it's funny because I've never been one to like rage. Like I've never been one to like throw things or want to punch something or go axe throwing, or like I've never channeled anger through my physical body. I've always channeled it into something else, into creativity, into art. I've always channeled it into something I produce. That's just how I've always operated. That's how I've processed feelings throughout my whole life. And recently I was so frustrated and stressed. This was like a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, I've been pretty much stressed out since since March, honestly, let's be real, because I've had just a huge boom in my business. And then of course I was like, I'll take it easy this summer. It'll be so fun. And instead I fucking just booked myself out and then decided to move and redo my whole website and try to schedule 18 million podcast guests. And I'm just freaking out. Okay. However, the other day I'm like raging, and not literally, but in my mind I'm raging. I'm like, I'm stressed. What do I do? I'm freaking out. Oh my God, I don't make money. Like all these thoughts are always just floating around my brain. Money, kids, health, wealth, all this stuff. And I had this urge to just punch something. My partner, being the opposite of me, Josh, he is definitely the opposite. He can like throw something, punch something, and he will feel so good. Like he'll literally just, punch something, the wall or something. This makes him sound very dangerous. He is not. He's also a delicate butterfly. However, he does channel his aggression really well. I'm like, let's get a punching bag. Okay. I decided to punch the wall thinking this is going to feel so good. Like I know when people are like, oh my God, I feel so good when I punch things. I punched the wall. Not only did it fucking hurt and I bruised my hand because I also bruise easily, but I didn't actually break anything. There wasn't even I'm like looking at the wall, like trying to measure it. I'm like putting up a leveler. Is this even? Not even a fucking dent, just a red ass knuckle and a bruise. I'm like, okay, this was pointless. Anyways, I've just been so in my head with self-awareness to a point where I've had to just realize, with all the good things that come with success and with following your dreams and with pushing and with determination and motivation and consistency and showing up and doing all the fucking things we know we have to do if we want to get to where we want to go, there is going to be resistance, friend. There will always be resistance. There is no such thing as a resistance-free path. And even the most easy path forwards, the ones that we forge ourselves, the ones where we literally, like, I think about my life. I was telling my daughter the other day, I'm like, it's cool because I am my own boss. I can plan my own schedule. I have 1000% complete control over what I do day to day. There is no one in my life besides my family who tells me what to do. It's amazing. I love it for me. I hope everyone can get to that point if that's what you desire. So I'm like, so why the fuck am I so stressed out? Why have I, me, the only person, me, put so much pressure on myself and book myself out so far and be so just mentally involved with things? Like, I don't even think it's like I'm just so busy. It's like I am just, my mind is in so many buckets right now and wanting to be present in all of these buckets. I want to be present with my kids. I want to be fully involved in my business. I'm trying to be fully involved in this podcast. I have a relationship that I love. I have friends I haven't seen in forever. Yada yada yada. We all have the same problems. But I'm just realizing, like, for me specifically, this is totally ranting in your ear, but you might be able to relate to this. It's like, I am the only one who says yes or no to all of these things. There's no one forcing me to do anything. Now, obviously, if you have a job or what have you, you have to like do your responsibilities. We all have shit we have to do. However, I'm in control of my energy, my surroundings, my schedule, my time, how I spend that time. And it is so true. The more positive, the more happy, the more successful, the more in line you are, the more you're going to try to sabotage yourself, or the more the world is going to throw obstacles in your way that are going to feel really fucking difficult. But here's the great thing. Here's the good thing that I'm trying to remind myself. And this is why I'm recording this podcast today, because I'm speaking to me today. I need to hear this myself. I've been really, really, really stressed. I've been really anxious. And I'm in such a good place in life. And I'm like, why am I feeling so fucking anxious? Like, I'm about to move into this beautiful house. My kids are healthy. I'm healthy. My family is beautiful. Like, I have security. My job's thriving. Like, everything is so good. Why am I feeling so stressed? And I'm like, this is you trying to sabotage your fucking self, and we're not going to let it happen, Tay-Tay. We are not going to let it happen. And I want to remind you as well, if you are sabotaging yourself because you keep making that same bad choice, or you keep going back to that same bad friend or that same loser guy, or you can't get out of your freaking situation, or you try as you might to change a habit, but you can't follow through, you can. You actually can. What's happening is you're sabotaging yourself and you're putting yourself in this tiny box, when in reality, you're so much bigger. You're so much bigger. You're so much stronger. You're so much more able than you're giving yourself credit for. And right now, if you just looked around at your surroundings, looked at your schedule, I promise you, you have opportunity right now to improve. You have opportunity to improve your life, to improve your situation, to improve your happiness, improve your health. And it doesn't have to start big. It can start so small. So today, instead of pushing myself to the point of I got to wake up early. I got to go to the gym. I got to stay on top of this. I got to do that. I got to like all these things that just daily and then weekly and then monthly that are crowding and that we can all relate are just weighing us down. I decided to figure out what are my priorities today that I absolutely have to do. And then around that, other than those priorities, I am going to give myself room to enjoy what's on my plate, literally, like eat. I'm going to give myself room to eat because we got to fucking eat around here. But I'm also going to prioritize rest. And I mention this because I know for myself when I get in these seasons of go, busy, move, we're going and thriving, everyone's going, there's kids, there's stuff, there's events. I don't rest. I don't relax. I don't eat well. Not well as in like, just bad food. Like I just don't supply my body with the right energy it needs. Of course, we're going to break down. Of course, those of us who struggle with anxiety or depression or mental illnesses are going to have flare ups. Or if you have health problems, like, of course, those things are going to be prone to show up when you're not giving yourself room to just fucking take a breath. So if you haven't taken a breath today and you're listening to my podcast and we're 20 minutes in, my therapists, they used to always tell me the marshmallow counts. I think it's like what? 8 counts in, 6 counts out. 6 counts in, 4 counts out. I don't know. 4, 4, 4, 4. 6, 4, 8, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Anyways, I want you to take a deep breath because life's hard. Life is really hard. And I'm acknowledging it for all of us. And I'm acknowledging that my life compared to others may not be that hard. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what our lives actually look like in terms of what we're struggling with because we're all human. So no matter how much money we have, no matter how healthy we are, no matter how beautiful our life may seem from the outside, every single one of us is dealing with the same human experience. And that's our fucking mind, our mind and our body. And if you're not taking care of those first, how can you ever expect to get where you want to go when you're not taking the time to just be kind to your mind and your body, to give it rest, to supply it with energy, to fuel it? And it sounds so rudimentary, like, yeah, get rest. I'm not just saying like good sleep. I'm saying like rest. Like if you have been grinding this week and every single day you've made it to the gym or you're picking the kids up from school and then you had work and you had errands and it's the end of the school year and you're doing all of these things, take a break, mom, dad, friend, sister, whatever you are. Sit on the couch, do something that you enjoy, go for a walk, take a bath, go see a movie. Who goes to the movie theater anymore? Jesus, I fucking love the movie theater. What happened to $5 matinees? Can we get that back? You want to talk about inflation? Okay, I'm getting upset because people keep talking about egg inflation. Movie ticket inflation is actually insane. Like $18 for a movie. They used to be like $5, maybe even less than that when I was a kid. I don't remember. Go see a movie. The point is, I know I'm stressed out and I feel like my life, I have set it up. I've set it up. My life is not easy, but I have set it up to be easier, meaning I've spent the past 4 years risking and taking chances and being consistent and really disciplining so I can have an easier life financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of those things. It didn't just happen overnight. But I can say this because if you're not creating room in your schedule to just exist, to just be, to just experience things, there's nothing wrong with taking time for you. Nothing wrong with it. And I feel like as moms, I have a lot of moms that listen. I have a lot of business owners. I have a lot of women. I feel like as women, we take a lot of the burden around the people around us. As women, we take on the burden that a lot of the people around us are carrying, and we put it on ourselves. We take the burden of our kids. We take the burden of our friends. Women, we take the burden of our partners. A lot of the times we're the caretakers. We're taking care of our family and our parents and all of the responsibilities. And then you add on a lot of the women in our community are nurses, they're teachers. You don't have to bear all of that. And also, it is 1000% okay to tell someone, I need some time alone. I need some time to rest. I need some time for leisure. Why don't we prioritize leisure? Leisure. This is the Texan coming out in me. We seriously don't prioritize it. And it's sad because there are so many cool fucking things to do out there. There's so many sports and activities and hobbies, and there's communities for anything nowadays. There's clubs, there's places to go, there's art. I mean, it is incredible how much. I even live in a suburban, very like white suburban area. And even in my area, the amount of culture there is if you just get out of your bubble. Like we have Koreatown, we have some of the best Cajun food out here. Like we have incredible Cuban food. There's really good art making its way out here. And I'm just talking my area specifically, but it's like if we can just get out of our little tiny bubble and take the shades of all of our problems off of our eyes, the world is actually a lot more shiny than we make it out to be. A lot more shiny when you're not clouded with all of your daily fucking shit and you're not just clogged up with all of this negativity. You just see things a little lighter in life and you start to notice things a little more rosy. And in the moments when I find myself just getting that passive aggressive bullshit attitude about things because this isn't going right, or I didn't get sleep, or my shoulder hurts, or oh, I gotta do this, or I haven't made any money in a couple of days, I look around me and I'm like, yo, like life is fucking cool. The world is awesome. There's cool stuff happening around you every single second. There's people making it happen. There's cool stories happening. There's communities, there's cultures, there's businesses. I'm getting hyped up because I don't even fucking know why, but I'm hyped up because I feel like we're always so crowded and we're so concerned with our own tiny worldview. And we just take a second to just realize that our problems really aren't problems. They're just situations we put ourselves in that we can either stay in or get ourselves out of. Shit's not that serious. It's really not. And I told you guys last week that I'm trying to let stuff roll off my shoulder. And I'm glad I just came to this episode with all of this pent up anxiety. And this is exactly why I have this podcast, because I know that half the things I'm dealing with in my head are just me. Not like as in I'm the only one dealing with it, but it's just me. It's me creating this story. It's me creating these situations. It's me creating the stress and the anxiety. And it's me pushing myself. And I know for a fact that you listening, if you're still listening to me ranting right now, you're either one of two things. You're fucking like, this girl's on crack, or you're listening because you can relate. And if you can relate, I just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to take a step back. Take off those glasses that are blinding your vision and just soak in the fact that you're here. You're alive. You've made it this far. You've gotten this far. You've done this much. I want you to think about all the things you've accomplished in your life. I want you to think about all the good things happening right now too. Because when I start getting in these modes of like negativity, I just have to look around and think about what are all the good things happening in my life right now? Even the small things, like the best things that are happening right now. I'm going to make a list. And you start making that list and you're like, okay, it's really not as bad as I'm making it out to be. And then once you can realize that it's not as bad, it's a lot easier to think with clarity. Like even for me right now, I'm having this shoulder injury, this pain, and I'm feeling really overwhelmed and stressed out with the amount of responsibilities I have on my plate right now. And this morning I was feeling anxiety driven. I went to the gym. I wasn't having a great workout because I was feeling anxious. And I came to the podcast thinking just this morning and like right now, like if I can just take a step back, I have so much more clarity to make action plans. And you guys know I'm all about action. I am all about creating action because without action, what's the point? You can't get anywhere without action. And so if you can just look at your life and say, okay, what shit do I have going on right now? What are the main priorities? What is the action plan I need to get this shit taken care of? To get this circumstance taken care of, to get out of the situation, whatever it is, small baby steps, right? Then with that clarity, you can write your next goal and your next steps. I'm speaking to myself more than anything right now, and I'm feeling really good. And it's funny because I actually had a list of things I wanted to talk about today of like just like life content dumps, and I didn't get to any of it. Sometimes I feel like, have you guys ever seen those old those old Presbyterian preachers when they get succumbed to the Holy Spirit and they start a shaking and they start a word in the word of the God and they are preaching? I feel like that was just me right now, but with like self-help. Tay Tay is preaching the tea right now for the self-help and betterment, because although we are unwell today, we're going to be well tomorrow, bitches. I promise you. That is why we're here. We're here to get healthy. We're here to get wealthy as fuck. But most importantly, I'm here because I truly, truly know that while I am a little crazy, I'm a little unhinged, my brain is a little scrambled, probably from all of the devil's lettuce I've smoked. However, I know that my experiences are not unique. I know that right now, hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people are experiencing the same stress and the same anxiety and the same happiness and the same feelings, because for most of us, we're all just here living and we're all just trying to make it in this fucked up, crazy world that happens to be a lot more beautiful than we think it is. And so I just want to leave you with this tidbit. It's Friday. It's the weekend. I don't know about you, but it's gorgeous in Houston. It's a little warm, but the sun is shining. The birds are out. It's summer. It's a new month coming. School is out. I just want you to take a breath, take a step back, remind yourself that you're good. We've got this. We're okay. We're here. We're moving. And create that action plan. Figure out what your next step is. What step do you need to take to feel better, to get rest, to move forward towards your goals? And most importantly, I just want you to remember that when you're working on yourself, when you are truly, truly putting in the time and effort to work on yourself, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really fucking hard. Getting aligned with who you are, figuring out who you are, understanding what you want to do with your life. It is hard. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. And it's going to require a lot of you. But if you put yourself to it, you will have the best fucking version of your life you could ever imagine. And I'm a walking testament to that. And with that, I will leave you, and I'll see you guys right here next week on Ironically Serious. Later, babes.